8 is the first play written by Ella Hickson. Hickson created 8 monologues ready to air at Edinburgh's Fringe Festival in August 2008. These monologues, of 15 minutes each, offer a state-of-the-nation group portrait. The official website for the performance describes it as looking at what has happened to a generation that have grown up in a world where everything has become acceptable. Quote, 8 was formed around the results of a survey that asked 20-somethings what defined their generation. Hickson tried to answer their almost unanimous response of apathy, with a show that works to find the glimmers of faith amidst wholesale cynicism. 8 looks at the singular, personal, affective and otherwise social phenomenon. Performances. For each performance, the audience was asked to vote for which 4 of the 8 monologues they would like to see. As the audience entered the auditorium, all 8 characters were lined up across the front of the stage, but only the 4 characters with the highest votes would perform. The other 4 characters would remain on stage, reminding the audience that in each choice we make we are also choosing to leave something behind. Such a procedure is not essential for a performance of 8, and directors, of course, should remain in control of the lineup and order of play if they should so wish. Edinburgh Fringe. In May 2008, the director, writer, cast and crew of 8 were all students, alumni PF Edinburgh University. The group applied for the free Fringe slot offered each year to a student production by Edinburgh University Theatre Company at the Bedlam Theatre. 3 months later, the show was performed and went on to win a Fringe First, the Carol Tambor Award, and the NSDF Emerging Artists Award. The NSDF Emerging Artists Award facilitated a 3-night run of 8 at the Pleasance Theatre, Islington, which took place in October 2008. New York. The Carol Tambor Best of Edinburgh Award is an award given to only one of the thousands of shows across the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. This award offered an all-expenses-paid 2-week run at New York's PS 122. The New York debut of 8 coincided with New York's 2 largest off-Broadway festivals, the Under the Radar Festival, a showcase of new international work held at the Public Theatre, and the Coil Festival, held at 8's own venue PS 122. 8 was hugely successful in its run, performing sold-out shows near enough every performance. Ms. Hickson, 23, has already found her voice, and it's a powerful one. A potent show indeed. The New York Times. London. After the success of 8 at Edinburgh and New York, 8 was performed at the West End from the 6th until the 25th of July 2009. The run included after-show talks of the new writing, Fringe preparation and how to make it as a new kid in the theatre world. Amateur rights. The script was published the 2nd of July 2009 through Nick Hearn Books and featured a 9th monologue only, performed once before. This 9th monologue was the first of these to be written. It was performed by Henri Peters at a scratch night called Candle Wasters at Bedlam Theatre, Edinburgh. Early 2008. Hickson explains, Buttons was left out of the final lineup of 8 because his syndrome was too niche to appeal to the wide demographic at the Fringe. He was a little too weird. I am, however, incredibly fond and proud of this monologue. This 9th man is, after all, where it all began. Quote, characters. Below are descriptions of each character as they appeared in the published book. Danny, 22. Jude, 18. Andre, 28. Bobby, 22. Mona, 18. Miles, 27. Millie, 30. Astrid, 24. Buttons, mid-30s. Danny. Danny is a well-built man in his early 20s. He sits on a black box in the center of the stage with a corpse's head laid across his knee. He is feeding water to the corpse. He is wearing jeans, a black wife beater, and black boots. Danny is 22 years old, but he appears much younger. His learned manner is one of faux aggression. However, he fails to disguise an underlying vulnerability. Danny is a little slow but essentially sweet. Jude is 18 years old, dressed in school trousers, shirt and tie. A large black block, center stage, acts as a bed and a dinner table, navigated around in the opening sections. Andre, originally Andrew, is a 28-year-old gallery owner. He enters his gallery, clearly stricken, takes a moment to catch his breath and position himself on a high stool. Bobby is a 22-year-old mother of two, wearing a red Adidas tracksuit. She is seated on a table. We imagine her kids, Kyle and Chloe, 4 and 6, at her feet in front of the telly. She's reading down to them in enthusiasm. Bobby has a strong, working-class Edinburgh accent. She mimics an upper-middle-class English accent when impersonating Mrs. Beaton. Mona is a small, dark-haired girl in her late teens, with a mild pregnancy bump that is not seen immediately. Her hair is loose around her face. She has the innocence of youth and yet acts with disquieting intensity. The stage is set with a center block and one chair placed at its side. Miles is an American man in his mid-20s. He is dressed in a sharp suit and is attractive due to a corporate aesthetic. He should carry himself with ultimate bodily and vocal composure. The cracks in this composure should be perfectly synchronized with the glimpses of weakness in his performative facade. Millie is an apparently well-to-do lady, in her early 30s, dressed in tennis whites and wielding a tennis racket. She is mid-mime, straddling an imaginary middle-aged man, flailing wildly. Astrid is in her early 20s. She is slim and attractive, the kind of girl that seems comfortable in her own skin. Tonight, however, she is a little drunk. She is returning from a night out and is dressed accordingly. There is a bed in the center of the stage. The audience can see a man sleeping in it. She slowly climbs into bed next to the man, desperately trying not to wake him. She lies there, restless for several seconds, then sits up. Buttons is a well-built, tensile-looking man in his mid-30s, grunting his way through press-ups on the floor of a prison cell. The room contains a grubby cupboard, a dilapidated toilet, a desk and a chair. He will reach the end of a 10-year jail sentence tomorrow morning. He knows the small space well. It fits him and he owns it. There is a sense of latent sexual and physical power about the man.